Hello, everyone. My name is Rick Simpson, and you're listening to peoplesinternetradio.com, one of the major voices of truth in our world.
Good afternoon, People's Internet Radio. This is Raconteurs News with myself, Andy Young, and Jason Holmes, as always on a Saturday. Hope you're all well. I see we've got a nice few in the chat room. We've got Dell in there. We've got Jason. We've got Joan. Good afternoon, Joan. Luby Lou, Tony Hurst, and Vin. So hopefully we get a few more joiners as we go along. How you doing, Mucker?
I'm okay, my old pal. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, mate. Thanks. Oh, we've got a bit of a hiss come there. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Oh, no. Dear. Right, we'll take that down a touch. No, we've got that hiss there, Jason. We'll see if we can fight our way through that. We've got a great lineup today, haven't we, Jason? You're muted there, mate. Can't hear you, Jason. Are you there, Jason?
Hello there. How are you doing?
Ah, that's better. Yeah, you went all muted there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this daft thing. I mean, it's been excellent until we've just decided to go on air, and then it's decided to make itself all hissy and everything. Yeah, we've got a great show today. We've got Tom Crawford is going to be joining us. Do you think this is coming from my mic?
There's a possibility it might do. Are you there, Tom?
Yes, hello, Andy. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, that's great. Welcome to Raconteurs News, Tom. We haven't spoke to you in a long while, but you've been having some quite impressive developments just lately. Would you like to enlighten our listeners about that?
Yeah, it's been absolutely excellent. The information we've been gathering on the police and the courts and the banks is absolutely outstanding. And I take this opportunity right now to thank the 6 lads and the young lady who got on my roof and won their case and proved that the police were lying and the documents that they claimed that stole our house was fraudulent. Absolutely brilliant. They're heroes to my family and myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I found really encouraging was not only was the case thrown out of court, but the Rooftop 6 were awarded costs, weren't they?
Yep, everyone got costs, and not only costs, the judge was actually giving them extras on top. You know, an extra £10 here and £20 there. Yeah, it was a great result for them, and I'm so happy for them.
Oh, that's excellent news, Tom. So, what's the latest developments on the house, Tom?
Right, well, we have so many court battles all going off at the same time. You'll have to excuse me, I've got a cold, so if I have to stop occasionally just to blow my nose. Yes, we're going to take the banks, the police, and the courts to the criminal courts now, because of the evidence we've got on them. Hopefully, it'll be quite soon, but we're all working busily on those documents.
Excellent. I know you've got a really good team around you. Are you at liberty to say who you've got working with you now, or do you want to keep that a bit quiet?
I'll keep that a bit quiet, but a few of them you already know. There's other ones in the background.
Well, my apologies if your cold's anything to do with us, because we had Gordon Bowden on last night, and he got abscesses, so I hope we're not infecting anyone over Skype.
I can assure you I haven't got any abscesses as yet, so I'll keep my eye out for that. But yeah, it's a remarkable start to 2016. We already knew that the documentation that the court was using was fraudulent. And now, at the start of the Rooftop 6+1, the judge asked the CPS to reconsider their position right at the very start, and they forged on, and they went right through to the very last witness. And once again, the judge said, I think you should go away and reconsider your position. And for the CPS to be asked twice to do that, that's how determined they were to make an example of those people on the roof and my son. And unfortunately, they bit off more than they can chew. It just goes to prove that for once the government's right, CPS is not fit for purpose.
Mm-hmm. So I've been hearing from various different people I've talked to that 2016, the momentum really seems to be building, and we're making some real progress through the courts. Various people been having success in the Queen's Bench, where they seem to be getting steamrolled in the Crown Courts, county courts. And it to me, it all looks encouraging. It was touched upon last night by Gordon, Peter, and David that we need to do away with this bloody infighting and name calling, and because if we'd spent as much time and energy helping each other as we had trying to destroy someone's life who disagrees with you, we'd have won the battle and we'd be on Easy Street by now, wouldn't we?
Well, I get attacked an awful lot, which I totally ignore, never respond to it. If that's the way certain people want to behave, let them behave that way, but it's quite obvious that the majority have got different agendas to each other. But you're right, everybody should be focusing on the situation to stop the corruption that we're discovering everywhere and stop fighting with other groups or other members. It's absolutely pointless and self-destructive.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, some of the things I've seen online, the fingers that are being pointed, I mean, firstly, I wonder, do these people actually realise that they're not only not getting towards their goal, but by the playground behaviour, they're actually getting us further away from the goal. And also, it's just totally counterproductive. I've got to wonder, are some of these people, plants infiltrators? Because they're clearly not pushing in the same direction as the rest of us, are they?
The strange thing is, I find that with the name-calling, with the allegations and such like, they're either against the system that's trying to enslave humanity, or they're going to join in the fight and put their energy into that. So they're either for us or they're against us. There's no in between with this. But these are the people that's supposed to be awake. They either know what's happening, and if they do that, why attack someone that's actually trying to do exactly the same thing as them? It makes no sense at all.
No, absolutely none. So, interesting enough, on the subject of Nottingham, just before we started this call, I got a call from Mickey Summers, and they're harassing Mickey again. I see he's had some sort of council bod round to his sheltered accommodation, trying to get in the building again, trying to serve him with another injunction. He's been trying to serve the council with injunctions this week, so it's a bit of a tit for tat there. But Mickey did say that they've actually been in the council house building this morning, and they got 40 or so coppers there to remove them. And the last I heard, they were on their way to Loxley Hall, so going to try and take that. So it's looking very interesting today, and I just told Mickey to watch his back and be careful.
Yeah, Mickey's a power unto himself. He's done so much good for the anti-paedophile group in Nottingham, which they drafted me onto their committee, so I do know quite a bit about it. But he's absolutely a wonderful man, considering the type of life he was put through when he was young. And the council do not like him because he tells them exactly straight that they're a bunch of criminals and they didn't protect the youngsters. And our side is all to do with property, but it's pointless. I've said it before. protecting property when you can't protect your children. But if he's gone to Loxley House, I take it they'll try and take it under Magna Carta 61, which if it's a Crown building, you got every right to be there.
I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. I didn't have a chance to have a long conversation with Mickey because it was a bit frenetic where he was, and also we were just getting ready to come on air. So I wait further details from Mickey, but I mean, the man's got a heart like a lion.
Yeah, that's right. I was speaking to Mark Salon. He was in the square. I just spoke to him about 10 minutes before coming on, and that's when the Black Mariahs were pulling up. And that's all I know. But it all goes off in Nottingham. It seems like, as I said, we're the epicenter of whatever situation, and it's growing. The people here in the city seem to be waking up, even the middle classes.
That's fantastic news. I just noticed Jason's been having a bit of a trouble with his setup. Are you back with us, Jason? It would appear not. Okay, don't worry about that. We'll get
Jason. Is that your technical chap?
No, Jason's co-host now. He does the Saturday afternoon show with me.
Okay.
But we'll see if we can get him added back in at some point.
It's a shame.
No worries, he'll be back.
Okay.
But, yeah, so something that was reported to me the other day, it was Peter Bromfield who was on last night, was talking about East Coast resistance, and he's come against a family who's been evicted, and there seems to be strange parallels with your story, like all their belongings have gone missing. Have you heard that as a regular occurrence, Tom?
They've changed their motive of operandi, so to speak. Before, what would happen is that they'd turn up, evict the people, board up the house, then get them later on to remove their goods. But now they're turning up with removal vans, getting the goods out in case they get back in. They did a lot of planning with our eviction, and they found it successful, and they're using it on another unfortunate people. So, yeah, I have heard it.
And something that Mickey did mention to me to ask you about, I'm not sure whether it's something you'll be able to comment about, so I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk about it off air before we came on. He did mention Operation Hooper.
Yeah, Operation Hooper was in the planning for, I estimate, about 6 to 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. Freedom of Information said it was 2 weeks, and the police, on the day people speaking, they said it took 2 weeks. It's they liaisoned with the bailiffs, which is a criminal company down in South London, the sheriff's office. Everybody thinks that's official, but it's actually just the name of a private corporation. And 2 weeks is total nonsense. More like 2 months they planned it. And when we're finished with them, there's a law called Common Law of Conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And the benchmark is if the general public are offended by something that has taken place and has been planned, they've committed a criminal offence. Well, the police and the bailiffs have, and the courts and the bank.
Oh, right, I've not heard of it, and the term the general public are offended, but I do remember from way back looking, and conspiracy carries a term of up to life imprisonment, doesn't it?
It can, yeah, but I think this particular offence is 10 years. But if the offence is that is counted up and the time on indictment, they'd probably spend life anyway, because I think they broke about 7 different common law laws.
Well, 10 years for each account.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. Well, no, for the bailiffs and the courts, because of the documents, each one is 7 years on indictment. There's just so many. I mean, smashing their way into the house. There's no, that comes under the Court and Law Act. I think it's 1977, section 65. It's top of my head. I'm probably wrong because I got this call. Once again, that's about 10 years. It goes on, all these crimes have done.
Tom, it's Jason here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hello Jason, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Sorry, I've just sort of missed probably the last 20 minutes. I just wanted to ask you a question. How have the council and the police and the bank, how have they justified the amount of money that they spent on your eviction? Have they been able to justify it in any way? Have you had any sort of response from them?
They will never be able to confirm to the general public why they did what they did without bringing the actual evidence to light. But the reason why they went so heavy after us and spent so much money is because of the work we've been doing against the courts and the bank, and they're extremely worried because of the information we're giving to the general public. I'll be doing a little video quite soon, and I'll be putting up a lot of evidence that people can use and see exactly the laws that each the police and the courts are breaking, and then the criminal activities of criminal soliciting officers. But that's the reason it's going to cost them an awful lot of money. And not even touching on securitisation, which that was asked in court as well. And a spokesman for asset management, UK asset management, when asked, was our house securitised, he said, I can't answer that question. That tells you an awful lot.
Well, the neither confirm nor deny usually means that if they answer the question, they'll land themselves in a whole heap of trouble, doesn't it?
Well, the thing is, he could easily say no, or he could say, I don't know, but when you say, I can't answer the question, it means, you know the answer, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah. Also today, we've got Dave Witcher who's joined us, and I just wondered, I know from what Jason's told me, Dave's a big supporter of what Tom's been doing. Have you got anything you'd like to ask Tom, Jason? Dave, sorry.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Dave.
How are you, Fruit?
What's your mate?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, I was up at Tom's last January in the freezing cold, and I just want to make a clarification on and for the record now that I reckon on the day there was a good 700 to 800 people that turned up in solidarity for Tom and his family. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get up there for the actual eviction because they swooped in very quickly, and I'm only sorry, Tom, for the loss of the dog, and the heartache. Dogs for me are just as important as men and women. They're part of our lives, and they're just a soul. I think the way they acted was just subhuman, no emotion. These people, they're just psychopaths. But what a great victory your son and the others had this week in court with the result they've had. And it's nice to see, it's quite refreshing that we're seeing judges now. They're obviously monitoring the tone of the people. These people ain't stupid. They're streets ahead of us. And it's just nice to see that maybe the light that people like Tom and others around the country are shedding is having an effect on them, and they're wanting to help, maybe, as opposed to keep hindering us. I've always said that the right to a home is mandatory. It's not a grant. It's not a gift from the government. And it's just a sad indictment of the times that we live in. Have I got any questions for Tom? Yeah, I probably have. But first and foremost, the first one, Tom, is, are you okay, and how's the family?
Family's absolutely brilliant. We're buoyed up by the actual win the other day. That really got us going. I've got a cold, I'm afraid, but apart from that, the more they try, the harder we try. We seem to be winning this, and by the information I've got at my fingertips and other people, we will win, and we'll be back now home. No, not a shadow of a doubt about that. And they will take an awful bloody nose at the end of this. I mean, they must have spent, well, the estimate of the trial last week, well, actually it's this week, is between 300,000 and 400,000. Exactly. You put it in the context of some people getting onto a roof and breaking a window. I think the CPS slightly went over the top of that, and I think the judge did. And the judge that passed it up from the magistrates to the Crown Court, I'd like to thank him. That's Judge DeVas. If he kept it in the lower courts, we wouldn't have had a jury, and we wouldn't have been able to get the documents that we required. And bearing in mind, they had a whole week to supply the correct documents, and they couldn't find a judge to verify the ones that they had. Nobody put their signature to it. Absolutely, that tells the tale in itself. Everything we said has been right.
The more sorry, Dave. The more I hear about this, the more it sounds like a script from an old Keystone Cops movie, Tom.
You're not suggesting I'm Buster Keaton, then?
Well,
no, but yeah, they're just a bunch of clowns. But criminal ones. That's the sad thing. People lose their homes with these people. Families are on the streets. You know, it's shocking, and this shouldn't be happening in this century. And in fact, this is what used to happen in Nottingham in the days of King John. You know, with Robin Hood and that lot. The sheriff's men turn up and turf them out and put someone else in and take their lands. Nothing's changed, except we got Skype.
They say there's nothing new under the sun, Tom.
Yeah, that's very true, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it always tends to kick off in Nottingham first. Tom, the day that you went into court last week, was you all kind of apprehensive? And when it ended like it did, I'm on the assumption it was quite sort of sudden, that it was all no case to answer. Did you find that a little bit weird, or was it something that you was expecting?
Well, we'd been expecting it for a little time, actually. We were really surprised that they went that far. We thought they may just drop it on the first day, but no, the CPS decided to push it along right to his very last witness. No, we were expecting what was happening. It didn't come as a surprise. It came as a disappointment because I wanted to get onto the stand myself. Unfortunately, I had to sit outside and get all the information fed into me from what was happening. But they didn't want me on the stand anyway because of the things I'll be bringing to the jury, and the jury would have been the most awake jury that the UK has ever seen, I think. No, weren't surprised, but delighted.
So do you think it's possible that the reason it ended when it did, Tom, was in order to make sure that you didn't take the stand?
Partly, but I think the majority of, well, it's a twofold. They didn't have the amount of evidence that passes the threshold for what they were doing. They didn't have that, simply. And we were going to give them the law on that. Didn't get a chance. But the documents, they just could not get a judge in Nottingham to put their signature to the documents that stole our house. And then my son also asked them about securitization, and I would have educated the jury in that. So these youngsters, well, I call them youngsters. I get told off for that. They're all men and women, but they did an absolutely fantastic job. They got on the roof there, and they had the word justice. They got it, and they've helped point us in the right direction too.
Yeah, I agree.
We've got a question come up from the chat room, Tom, and it's from Tony Hurst. And Tony's asking, did the conduct of the police come up in court, i.e. pushing iron bars through the ceilings?
Yes, it did. I cannot remember whether the jury heard this, because there's a lot of to and fro in the jury being put out when certain things aren't legal arguments that they're put out and then taken back in. It was brought up that they actually doctored the videos, because they took videos off the internet on their own evidence gatherers, and they cut out the noise of them smashing the roof and then went on to something else, and then they really tried to twist the truth, but it was talked about.
Oh, that's good. It's good that it was raised. I did notice as well that there seemed to be quite a bit of coverage in the mainstream media and not quite as much spin as there has been previously.
That, our Nottingham Post here is an absolute waste of time. They deliberately mislead the public. Once one news agent agency gets a story and puts it out, if the others are too lazy, they just pick it up and run with it. And that's where a lot of the misinformation came from the Nottingham Post. Instead of talking about the actual facts, I've told them we've got big court cases coming off, and I will refuse to speak to them if they don't tell the truth. And of course they didn't. But I've got to thank the Daily Mail. They did a very subtle and reasonable for them.
Wow, that's a bit of a turn up for the books for the Daily Fail, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, so you can only speak as you find. And they actually gave a good slope to the story. Didn't go into the warrants and that, but for one of those type of papers, they weren't damning on us for a change.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, what I'd like to ask you is, I came down to Nottingham to the court on, I think it was May the 1st or May the 10th or something like that.
Second.
May the 2nd, yeah. This last year going up. Now, the question I wanted to ask you, I mean, there were so many people there and so much support for yourself and obviously for your family. Yourself and Craig were there and everything. How does that make you feel, knowing that you've got this support behind you? Does this make you more determined to continue with your fight and continue what you're doing? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, the thanks from my family and myself, Sue, is immense. And I've said it before, there aren't words in the English dictionary to thank these people. But what they've also done, they put a responsibility on us to make sure that they're giving us this platform. We've got to use this platform to help other people. And, they're absolutely wonderful, wonderful human beings, and we need more of them in this world.
And I'm absolutely sure that you will get them, because the camaraderie that was there on that day, I've not experienced for quite some time. Now, I'm just wondering, what do you think the actual cost that you Tom Crawford, your name Tom Crawford, has caused to the council and to the CPS and obviously to Bradford and Bingley as well? I mean, do you think you could put a figure on that entire cost?
Well, I haven't been doing it. Other people have been doing it, and it's been, they reckon, 1.5 million, somewhere in that region, which is for £43,000 alleged debt. Is total nonsense. I mean, if they were my financial advisors, I would sack them.
Well, it's quite clear to me, in my mind, that the intention was there from a very early stage to make an example and to make a kind of showcase of what they were going to do to you.
Yeah, well, once they've seen the general population showing such support for Sue and myself. It's a case of we got to stop this. And to them, 1.5 million's peanuts. I mean, really, to us it's vast sum, but to them that's nothing considering the amount of money it may cost them, because what we're doing is going to make PPI look like, pocket money.
Yeah, it's not their money, is it, either? I mean, it's easy to spend somebody else's money, which is what they've been doing, they've been spending the taxpayers' money, just to sort of make an example of you yourself. So what they've been trying to do is they've been trying to put people in a state of fear based upon on what you've been trying to do in standing up for your rights.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on. We stood up against them. They tried to slap us down and then show the rest of the population that gets into this type of trouble, don't do it, because look, he had all that support, look what we did to him, and you don't have that, so just give us your house. It's totally criminal, the way they think and behave.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Tom, unfortunately, there ain't no love and compassion in the system. I can't believe what they do. When their ethos is not to harm man, they're supposed to protect man's liberty, and so there's an abusive process. But one thing they're properly royally scared of is when they go and evict a family or pick on a woman in her house or someone, whoever, they're doing it on the private. They're doing it, and neighbours are pulling on their curtains and looking out, going, "Oh, we can't go out there." It's a bit like the Germans did back in when "Oh, no, you can't," and you're all grassing your neighbours up, and the Gestapo are coming. That's the situation that people in this country find themselves in. But when you've made such a stand and you've got such support, and that is completely amplifying all the time. Tom Crawford, this, that. If you got in front of a jury, they went for damage limitation. They wanted just to get you out there quick because they're scared of the people of this country knowing what they're up to. That's what they want to keep in Pandora's box. So that's what the scenario around your home and the people that got behind you, that's what it's doing. It's shining a light. When you've got the newspapers ringing you, wanting to know your story, so everyone in every home can read about it. You've got it on the TV. I've seen it on the TV. That's a plus, man. That's an absolute plus. And if you had got in front of a jury, like you said, in Nottingham, 50 or 60% of them would have been reading about what you and Sue and the family had all been going through. So the jury's going to be sympathetic, apathetic. No wonder they didn't want you on the stand, Tom. That's all I'm saying. They're scared of you. They're scared of you.
Well, it's not, you talked about the neighbours twitchy curtains and that. Our neighbours weren't, they were out and they were giving out teas and that's the fear. Once the middle, as they call it, Middle England, are starting to show support, we have to stop it. And they did for a short time. And they had their spin doctors, they had infiltrators. I mean, the police have got their men and women in all the groups. You know, my phone, I know I can't use it properly. In fact, on the day, I phoned up 999. I looked at my phone because I recorded it, and it had been wiped. So they know what they're doing.
You see, in the media, I read that this is the difference between the truth and the spin. Now, the mainstream of this country has been living in spin for so long that if the truth jumped up and smacked them in the face, it would scare the living daylights out of them. And that's the problem with people. It's very hard for them to come out of their comfort zone. They want to go to work, come home, watch telly, watch the football game. They're not interested in anything that goes on out there in the real world. Now, I know from my visit that your neighbours was in full support of what you was doing. But yet the papers and the spin that I think I've watched the video, all the neighbours were apparently fed up to it with the back teeth and they was all in fear and they wanted it all to stop. Now, I don't believe that to be the case, Tom. I believe that they would have been there supporting you. Fern Chase at the top of that was a little bulkhead. At the top there was probably 6 to 8 houses. I don't, and I've never seen anyone there on the day that I was there that would have made your neighbours have fear. Not at all.
No, all the neighbours were sympathetic. They managed to find a particular neighbour who suffers from Alzheimer's and didn't really know what was happening, so they quoted that one. I won't describe who it is, for obvious reasons. And then there was another one that we believe the bungalow was used by the police.
Oh,
because,
dear.
Yeah, they had relatives in the police, and that was their headquarters. So that was the ones they interviewed. They didn't want to hear all the good neighbours on that day because it was supposed to be a bad story that day, not a good story. They dragged the gutter for them. But generally, 99.9 of our neighbours have been absolutely brilliant.
That's great to hear, Tom.
The truth will always win, Tom. The truth will always win.
Mm-hmm. We've got another.
In the end, you know, you've got a battle, but it's now turning for you. Because also you've got massive, like they just said, you've got so many people that know the name. They've sort of followed the story, and like you said, £43,000 of an alleged debt has now turned into £1.5, probably to £2 million worth of waste of the taxpayers' money. Now, I would be filing papers on the court. I would be filing tax papers on the court, so they have to file all of that with the Inland Revenue. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, it's a remarkable story, really. I mean, all I was a tradesman that paid my way, like everybody tries their best. Then got ill. Then they tried to steal my home and Sue's home, and it backfired on them. Now that what they've done is they've opened up Pandora's box, and I said this, that now that it's open, the Rooftop 6+1 put their hands in there and pulled out an awful lot of nasty things that we all have to examine now. It's coming. Their system is folding. That's what I believe.
Oh, absolutely. I think you only got to look at what China and Russia's doing, the oil markets. 6 bankers arrested last week up in the city for all dodgy trading deals. I think people have got to start battening down the hatches and start thinking properly on their feet soon, because a lot of people are going to get caught out this year, maybe.
Yeah, well, I really don't know. They say, you know, if the system folds, I look at it this way, that do you think Tesco's or Sainsbury's are going to close their doors? They're going to run as normal. The trains will run. People want wages. People want to work. Nothing will change. The only thing that we might do is get a decent lot of police. We need decent police officers and a decent government, but not the type that's been running.
Yeah.
You know, you send someone to government to do what their constituencies want done, and they don't. They do what the pressure groups behind the scenes tell them, the banks, you know. So the whole system needs wiped away and a new system put in its place.
What gets me about people in... Well, it doesn't... This is how I see the public sector. Now, people that join organisations in the public sector generally do it with a good heart and a good intention. Let's say you go to your doctor, you're going to the doctor, you're asking for his guidance and his knowledge and to try and resolve an issue that you have with you. If you go to the dentist, the same thing. You go to the fire brigade, my house is on fire. They then come at your request and they'll come and do their hardest. They'll drag you out of your home. They'll even risk their own life doing it. But when we come to the one public sector that is so disjointed from the ethical point of view of what it basically functions for, is the police. Because, man, they will use weapons of war. Now, I would love to see a police force that only comes out to me when I need them. I don't want them imposing their will on me anymore. I want them to be like the fire brigade. I'm sat in a ditch, I've rolled my car. Is that the police? Yes. I really need your assistance. Please come. Or if someone's murdered someone, is that the police? Yes. I need your assistance. Please come. But no, the police, unfortunately, they want to be in every multifaceted dimension of your life, whether you want it or not. And that, for me, has got to stop. And the only instrument that is giving them the ability to do that is their weaponry. And it's as simple as that.
Violence. It's violence. They're using violence.
All it is. My altercation with them 2 days ago ended. I scraped through.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, Dave. We're going to go into that in huge depth very, very shortly. But yeah, that's right. What you want is a police service rather than a police force.
Absolutely, all day long, 24 hours a day.
Andy, your microphone's muted, mate.
Thanks for that, Jason. Yeah, I know you've got to go shortly, Tom. I know you're not very well with this cold. If I could just throw a couple of questions at you we've got from the chat room. I think the first one may be tongue-in-cheek. They're both from Delamitri, and the first one is, are you not feeling the love of the system for the people? And he also asks, what are the other positives / knowledge are you taking from this experience?
Well, on the last one, positives are that there are really decent, genuine people that can be found everywhere. And what you read in the papers, in the press, is... I've lost the word. I need a short-term memory thing. But basically, the general population are good, and the papers and the press portray a different reality. That don't trust your neighbours, don't trust anyone, and this mistrust gives an awful bad feeling to everyone. But that's not the real picture. The people that's come to support Sue and myself, that's humanity in action, and not what's in the press. And what was the first question again?
He says, are you not feeling the love of the system for the people?
Well, I don't know what system he's talking about, but the system that I experience absolutely have disdain for the people. They do not wish the best for the people. In fact, that public servant is reversed. The servant is now the master, and the public are the servants. So no.
No, absolutely. And he also thrown another one in there. He said, how does passive resistance score on your card, Tom?
100%. You can't use violence. I suppose the most remarkable man in that field would be Gandhi, and they couldn't destroy him because he never put force against them. He just passively told people not to engage with them, and that's what we should do. Stop engaging with these people, and they'll go away eventually if they have nothing to feed off.
That's a fabulous message for everyone, Tom. Thank you.
Absolutely spot on, Tom. Yeah, stop feeding them.
Maybe it's because Mahatma Gandhi, it's Mahatma Crawford.
Well,
I got a strange sense of humour. I don't put myself in the same category as him.
You are a famous hat wearer.
Yeah, well, a bit like the Buster Keaton you mentioned earlier. He was quite famous for his straw hat, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. It all started with my wife, and I made that first video, and it was my gardening type hat, when I had a garden. And it was so successful, I've worn it ever since. And then the bailiff's got my winter hat, but I've got another one, and now I've got the Rooftop 6+1 hat. That's the black one I use now for the winter. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting everyone who's active in whatever movement. I haven't met anybody that's been really bad. That's genuine. That is, yeah, it's been brilliant. So I'm going to go if you don't mind.
Yep, thank you very much for joining us, Tom, in spite of your cold. It's been a pleasure to talk to you again, and anytime you've got any updates in the future, drop us a line and we'll get you back on, mate.
Yeah, well, watch this space. There's a lot coming. So, been really nice speaking to you, Andy and Jason, Dave. Thanks a lot, and you down south, Dave, you're doing great work down there too. I keep my eye on the ball down there as well, so... Yeah, you're doing good stuff.
Thank you, Tom. And keep using the force, Tom.
Brilliant, Tom. Thanks very much for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Tom.
Right, Dave. The floor's all yours. Or would you like us to have a little music break and then we can come back refreshed, grab a cup of tea and all that?
That'd be good. Yeah, do better.
Okay. I know I've played it quite a bit lately, but I think the particular song might be appropriate because I think they had a fair involvement in this. Let's have a listen to Rats in the Council from Ken Pearson.
We're gonna catch those rats. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trap those rats and stick them in a zoo. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Decisions that they make and you don't know. You just see they're taking all your dough. And they spend it here and they spend it there. There's no accounting, so they don't care. Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? We're gonna catch those rats. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trap those rats and stick them in a zoo. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Rats in the council making dirty bits, formulating plans what to do with your kids. Keep your nose clean and do as they say. All the family courts will take your kids away. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? We're gonna catch those rats. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trap those rats and stick them in a zoo. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. With the Masons and the morons, who you gonna trust? The police and the courts, the system so unjust. Don't you think that you can run away? Cause they'll track you down to the USA. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? We're gonna catch those rats. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trap those rats and stick them in a zoo. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Rats in the council, now in plain view. We can see everything they do. Now it's clear we can see the day. We're gonna take them down and lock them all away. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. There's rats in the council, what are we gonna do? Rats in the council, what are we gonna do? We're gonna catch those rats. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trap those rats and stick them in a zoo. 10. A number on a list. I am a 1 in 10. Even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
And for the dough, malnutrition does my hair. My eyes are black and lifeless with an unprivileged stare. I'm the beggar on the corner, will no one spare a dime? The child that never learned to read, just no one spare the time.
I am a 1 in 10. A number on a list. I am a 1 in 10. Even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
Murderer, the victim, I'm licensed to a gun. I'm a sad, bruised old lady in an alley in a slum. I'm a middle-aged businessman with chronic heart disease. I'm another teenage suicide in a street that has no trees.
I am a 1 in 10. A number on a list. I am a 1 in 10. Even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
Starving third world mother, refugee without a home. I'm a housewife hooked on Valium, a pensioner alone. I'm a cancer-ridden specter, discovering the earth. I'm another hungry baby, I'm an accident at birth.
I am a 1 in 10.
A number on a list.
I am a 1 in 10.
Even though I don't exist.
Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. I am a 1 in 10.
A number on a list.
I am a 1 in 10.
Even though I don't exist.
Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. I am a 1 in 10.
A number on a list.
I am a 1 in 10.
Even though I don't exist.
Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
You were listening to people'sinternetradio.com. We are all born sovereign.
Welcome back to Raconteurs News, untwisted, unsweetened news. Sorry, I'm running these teeth in for an idiot. And we're back with Jason and Dave Witcher. And that's quite a special song. It's only the second time I've heard it, Jason. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, please?
That song, that's Heath Dweft. He's one of my friends from for many years, and he's a singer, and he writes his own songs, and he also does cover versions, and that's a cover of 1 in 10 by him, Heath Dweft.
Yeah, thanks for that, Heath. It sounded brilliant there, mate. So, Dave, what would you like to talk about in the second hour, mate?
Oh, I've come from many subjects. Where do you want to go?
The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, why don't we start? Why don't we start, Dave? Why don't you tell us about the run-in you had with Kent Police on a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I'll give you the build-up to that. About 6 weeks ago, I had a very, very brief altercation with Kent Police in a place called Charing, which is between sort of Maidstone and Ashford. And that incident actually only lasted a very, very, very short period of time. couple of PCs, one in his 20s, he never said nothing. The older gentleman done all the talking. And before I knew it, they both disappeared, got in their Skoda, and I started filming at that point because I didn't realise I wasn't. Because when they're in your face, you feel it straight away. And whenever I hear people say, you want to, when you're talking to them, you've got to trust me. When you've got a man in front of you that's got weaponry, and you know and understand the intent and what they can bring, you kind of, your brain goes a bit fuzzy, and your, excuse my French, a little bottom hole does a little twitch. That's just an instant natural reaction that happens to everyone, and that is sad in itself, because that's fear, and that's never a good place to be as a people. But nonetheless, they got in their car and drove off, and I started recording at that point. And thus far, that's at about 24,000 views through Facebook, with a lot of interaction from different people answering, giving me their opinion of what happened that day. Well, 2 days ago, something very similar happened with two PCs, and I recognised them. And I think they recognised me as well, because I went to an eviction that Kent Police took part in Dartford around about 2 years ago. I won't mention the guy's name whose house it was, but that, for me, that day of the eviction, I witnessed 10 to 12 police officers act like I've never seen them act before, and it troubled me. It took me a good week to get over what I'd witnessed. And basically, they just left the man on his doorstep in the clothes he stood in, and they couldn't care less. It was just such arrogance. And the sergeant looked like he was on steroids. He looked like Robocop. He could just about walk properly. He was so pumped up. And I thought, we got these people at the helm, guys. We got to be careful. So I thought I would just have a little gentle probe into an interaction with the police, because I haven't had an interaction with any police officer since I was a teenager, and that's a considerable amount of time ago. Well, the one 2 days ago, it come on very, very, very quick. The heat was on straight away. But by a little bit of grace and virtue, and me not rising to any of the bait, one of the officers that done most of all the talking, which he really insulted me, man, because I picked my Bible up, which I carry with me everywhere, and I said to him, and he said, he said, you've clearly got issues. And I thought, why would you say that? That's the word of God. That's what the Queen swore to uphold. And here you are ridiculing me because of my firmly held faith and belief, which, that hurt, man, that hurt. But nonetheless, on it went. I think after a period of time, I kind of talked to him in such a way, and my manner was never a raised voice. My window wasn't up, it was down. And he's saying, I'm going to seize your camera for evidence, because I was recording, and he was going to seize my van and put it in a pan. And I'm like, oh, man, I've just got to get out of this situation. So I just thought, no, stay calm, be pleasant, tell them you love them, tell them you're scared of them because of their weapons of war. And in the end, the guy that done mainly all the talking, he ran back to his car to get his jumper, and we got up a little bit of a dialect. I said, look, guys, we're all equal. We're all equal. And he said, well, I'm going to take the stuff. I said, you can take what you like, because you've got all the weapons, man. I can't do anything about it. In the end, he said, well, I'll give you a producer. And I thought about that for a minute, and I thought, I don't really want it. I'm not going to sign for it. But I realised what he was doing, because I've always had a good ability to read people. And I thought, he's offered me a little olive branch here. He's saying, we don't want to deal with you, mate. But we're bound. We got our job to do. We're picking up our paycheck at the end of the month. And we understand where you're coming from, but we just want to get out of here and leave you alone. And I realised that. I said, yeah, no problem. Now, the minute I said that, he ran back to the car like Linford Christie. He grabbed his pad and he brought it back. And it he wrote out, he said, I don't suppose you're going to sign this. I said, I can't sign nothing with the Crown, mate. And he held it in the window, and I cheekily said, can you put it on the dashboard? And he looked, he gave me one of them wonky eyes, and I thought, don't push it, Dave. So I took it, I wouldn't sign for it, and they got in their car and went. But I'd say that's 2 days ago, and I still get little tremors in me now. I didn't sleep at all that night. My missus said, what's the matter? I was up at all hours. I just couldn't sleep. Now, that took 20 minutes, that little altercation that I had with them. And I've got to be honest, boys, they put the fear of God in me. It's not a nice feeling. So
Dave, just I just want to just clarify something. So, because you had a Bible with you, or you had a Bible, you had a Bible with you, they said that you clearly had issues simply because you've got a Bible and some faith.
Yeah, 1953 King James Version, one of my fondest possessions, because when you come into the Book of Knowledge, you start seeing life very differently. I'm not going to preach on here and talk about that too much, because that's my thing. It's just something I do, something I like. It is what it is. Some people don't, some people do. Hey ho, that's life. That's the way things go. But yeah, he said, you've clearly got issues. I'm not here today to talk about that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it was a real dig.
So do you think that now the police view anybody who has any sort of religious belief as an extremist?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I said when I was chatting with Tom there that I've always had a big faith in humanity, and maybe I look a lot of the time through rose-tinted glasses, but hey-ho, I look at everyone with love, compassion. That's for me ABC building blocks of life and a healthy people. But clearly that's not the case for them. It did knock me, and looking back, it was he was discriminating against me, and I find that hard to take. Now, I know through fear, and this is purely through fear, I'm going to have to drop back in line and do what they say, because at the end of the day, if I have another interaction with them and I don't give them the documentation that they require, I have a funny feeling that my liberty is going to be in a lot of trouble. Man has no right to self-determination anymore. We're not allowed to stand in our own morality. I said to them, guys, I said, look, I could not hurt a single soul. I couldn't. I said, and me doing what I'm doing, I'm just protesting. I'm saying, no, I don't want to run with a government that has paedophiles, a BBC that has paedophiles, because it goes against my morality. And for me, if we don't have a choice to our individuality, and the last song you played, you mentioned at the end of it, sovereignty. I truly believe I am a sovereign. I truly believe that everyone is a sovereign in our own right, in our own flesh. But we're far from that when it comes to the law society. Far from that. And judges and the police, unfortunately, will just laugh you down, and just say, get this crankpot out of here. So we're in just with the police in mind, and I'm not against the police. I love it when I see police do good. I see a copper in America the other day take a girl into a shop and buy new clothes and trainers. Now give that man double salary. Yeah. But when they've got weapons of war and you're just peacefully protesting and saying, I don't agree with my government, I'm not going to take part in their stuff. If you don't fulfil their criteria, they take your property, they take your possessions, they beat you, they come into your home without a valid warrant and kick shit out of you in front of your missus. And I think that's a very dangerous place to be in. So I was just gently probing the system. But after 2 days ago, with the fear that they put in me just by their mannerisms and the force. I could feel the force coming off of them. I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble here. So yeah,
we've all had us run-ins with the police, and they seem to be trained and they seem to be indoctrinated these days to not give a total crap really about anybody apart from the uniform and whatever corporate entity that they're protecting at that particular moment in time.
I think it's like everything, isn't it? We're all caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. I can't imagine on a daily basis what a constable has to go through. He might have to go and witness a dead body, break into a house, find someone dead in bed. He might have someone spitting at him or trying to kick him or trying to run a 12-inch bread knife through him. I'm under no illusion that the police are in a really tough position. But nonetheless, the system for me should be about love and compassion. The system should be, you don't harm man, and unless a man is trying to harm you, you should go out your way to protect their liberty, their freedom, and their property. You know, you should be. Like I said earlier, you call your doctor. Doctor says, "What's the matter?" Tell me, left toe's falling off. I'm down. I'll fix you. Okay, cool. Go to the dentist. What's up? My teeth's falling out. Sit in a chair. I'll put your tooth back in. You come home, you find your shed on fire. So you think, I ain't tackling that myself. Who do I'm going to call? I'm going to call the public service, Pride of Britain. I'm going to call the fire brigade. And the fire brigade will come out, and if anyone's in that shed, they're going to run in there. They're going to do their hardest to come out with you intact. If there's not, I know that all them firemen are going to go home and they're going to think about the loss of life. If you're sat in your armchair and you have a heart attack and your wife calls 999, the ambulance is going to trolley up. You're going to have a paramedic in here pulsating you and chucking all sorts into you to get you going. But for me, like I said, out of all the public service, the police, very unfortunately, are very disjointed to the very thing that they're supposed to be looking after. And that's for me how I see the whole situation.
That's right. The police are supposed to be there to protect the public, but that seems to be a total role reversal as to what they really do. As people that know that what's happened to me, in August I had some police smash their way into my house so that British Gas could install a prepayment meter. And that what people don't understand is that at that point, I mean that happened in August, and it did have an effect on me. It really did have an effect on me, and it really made. I had a lot of things going on at once, and it culminated in me suffering a heart attack. And so what these people do is they don't care about anything, any consequences, and it seems that we've had this now. I understand that if you're a paramedic or if you're an ambulance driver or you're involved in that sort of thing, there are certain situations where you have to distance yourself, so you have to just turn yourself off, your emotions off, and turn that and just work on sort of your instincts and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that mentality, that training mentality, has been worked down into areas where it's not really needed, but it's helpful. So if you're a paramedic and you have the empathy trained out of you so that you can act and implement all your training and do whatever you can for somebody who's losing their life or something like that, then it's also been, that training has been put down to very low levels where it's not even needed, but it is beneficial, such as somebody not having empathy because they're cutting someone's benefits. Okay, do you understand what I mean?
I do. I think someone in the NHS ambulance that have the ability to switch off their emotions is a good thing, because they're looking for a positive outcome. And the swifter that they can get on with their job, save a life, massage a heart, stop a bleed, whatever, and then they come back into the real world. Now, I know that anyone in the NHS that would go home and lose someone on a day, they think about that. But I'm pretty confident, unfortunately, and I say this with a heavy heart, that the police, during their daily activity, should they have, I don't know, cuffed someone, beat someone, made them pass out, they're going to go home, switch the telly on, chat with their missus and kids, and put their head on the pillow and think about nothing and just go sleep. There is one thing, though, within the police force, and a good friend of mine is a Trojan in the Metropolitan Police. His boss come into his office a few years ago with all his finery on and his regalia. He went to the armoury, booked out a sidearm, and he went to his office and he blew his brains out. To me, that's not good, because someone's got to go in there and witness that, clean it all up. That's selfish. That's an act of selfishness. But there's a big suicide rate in the police, and any of the ones in the police force that are good, honourable men and women, nowadays I think are pretty much singled out, and either they have to fall in line, or they're going to run a risk of losing their job and losing their paycheck. The sad thing about it is everyone is caught in that system of financial, I don't go to work, I can't pay the mortgage. So this is why the English, all throughout the country, all in America, all through the Western Hemispheres, they do what they do because it's the lifeline to them. But in the fact of having to have that lifeline, for me, I couldn't do a despicable act to someone. I couldn't willingly or knowingly. I'd defend my own life, for sure I would. But I couldn't make out violence on someone just because I felt the need to do it, because they was pissing me off. A friend of mine's in the NHS in Maidstone, radiographer, done a lot of work for him. Really, really beautiful, lovely man. And he said, when I was chatting with him some time ago, he said, I had this guy brought in by the police. He wasn't acting up. He was in cuffs. And these cuffs were cutting him and making his wrists bleed. And my mate said to this cop, well, take them off. No, I ain't taking. He said, look, they're clearly hurting the man. No, I ain't taking them off. So my mate said, well, I'm not, unless you take them off, I'm not working on this man. And then a copper relented and took them off. So it's a mindset. And that's dangerous. And trust me, guys, my last interaction with the police on any level was probably 1988. And so I thought, well, Dave, you talk the talk, you walk the walk. Let's gently push. Don't worry too much about the outcome. I'm very financially secure. I run around in my little old van because I do what I do. It's probably only worth £1,500. But worst case scenario, I'd just go and buy another one. So I thought, I'm just going to gently see what happens, because I want to have an interaction with the police. I really do. I want to video in it and I want to document it. But I have to say, the 1-2 days ago has harrowed me and left me very, very, very unsecure. Little panic attacks, because I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't mind if they arrested me, if they took me to a police station in cuffs that were firm but loose, if they was to look after me while I was in there and we'd go through a process, no problem. But I think we're very far from that scenario in this country now. So, like I say, I'm just going to have to fall back into line, because if I don't, I fear, probably, if I'm watched or not, whether that's slightly paranoid, I don't know. I think they do take an interest in what I say. So for the benefit of my own life and out of fear for my life, and for my missus as well, I wouldn't want her to be without me. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to fall back in line on the motor front and do what they say for the time being.
Yeah, I appreciate where you're coming from, that Dave. And after all, we all need to look after ourselves first. Otherwise, you know, it's the same old saying: "He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day." But on the subject, you know, the weeding out the good coppers. One of the guests we spoke to last night, I had a long conversation with him after we got off air. Probably the longest one I've actually had that's run on after a show. And he was telling me his experience with the police that he's dealing with. He's got an awful lot of police officers of lower ranks who are well aware of what's going on. They're fully up to speed with the crimes that are being committed against men and women, and they've had enough of it. And a lot of them have said to him that they'd love to just get out and quit, but they want to stay in place to arrest the corrupt ones above them. So I think that's quite an encouraging message there.
I would say, if you talk to anyone in the police that has that them negative thoughts about, I don't want to do this, I want to change my career, I'm fed up with it. If you ask them this question, I bet you they know. How many paychecks are you away from retiring? And I bet you they all know how many paychecks they're away from retiring. The system's got everyone by the bollocks, guys. Excuse my French for the listeners out there, but that's the brutal truth. The system has got everyone that's in it working for these shekels, this money with interest, which is getting harder and harder to operate in. Food banks, 450 food banks in this country, not run by the welfare state, donations from supermarkets and kind people that feel they have a sense of duty to protect. Nothing to be proud of, by the way. That's not something to be proud of. 450 food banks. That's a telling tale of how there is a great disparity in this country, and it is purely driven from the core. You all you have to do to put everything back into line is follow the money, smell the money, get to the root of the currency, stop it at source, have a fair monetary system, so that everyone can thrive and live in an abundance, and the world will just become so nice again.
So what we really, sorry Dave, what we really need to be doing then in that case is surely to be disengaging from the present system in whatever ways we can, and in as much totality as we can, and building our own system. You know, be the change that you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I get people say, "Oh, you know, Dave, the only way we're going to achieve this is by taking buildings." Well, yeah, maybe. Taking buildings is... See, the English, we're a feckle lot. We've always had times of peace, times of uprising. We've had glorious revolutions before, which were peaceful, no bloodshed. And that's the only way to do this one. If there's a stack of people, a big rising in the numbers, and they come together in their local community. Tom said earlier that Nottingham is a bit of a nerve centre for it, and he's bang on. Nottingham will probably be the first place in the geographical landmass of a people that will start taking government buildings in peaceful protest and just ramming numbers in there and saying, you know, we're fed up with it. I can see it happening, but if you want to do something really positive to change your life, if you can afford to, I would look into drinking good clean water, distilling, growing your own fruit and veg if you can. Look at putting some solar panels in with grid tie inverters, and start homesteading, start fermenting and preserving vegetables and making your own preserves, stocking up on cheap tins of pasta. I'm pretty much at that point. I'm very lucky to have a nice place with 4 acres of land. We grow. The only interaction that I have to have with the system is, unfortunately, when I'm on the road. Other than that, I'm pretty self-sufficient, which is good, and I appreciate not everyone has that ability to do. But for me, guns and bullets will never be an answer. And if anyone does take up that ethos of guns and bullets, then I'm afraid the only outcome of that will be that the system will get stronger, and it will ruin and take away from anything from the likes of what we're doing, what Tom's doing, because it's not tolerable in this day and age, unfortunately. Well, no, fortunately.
Well, I think that if you take up violence, then you're legitimising their use of violence as well. So the system is going to use violence to try and impose its will upon you. If you use violence back, you're legitimising their use of violence. That's my...
Right. You know, the other day, when they come up to my window, I wound... My window was halfway down anyway, and I wound it down. And instantaneously, it's the fear, it's the... they're trying to rise, they're trying to get the bait, they're, my Bible, oh, you've got issues. They're looking to bait you, which is sadness in itself. Why? And they say, well, you've got issues. No, hang on a mate. You've got issues because you're trying to up the ante, and I'm not biting for you. I will never bite for any of them. But after a period of time, and from what I was saying and how calm and cool and collected I was, I got to the man behind the uniform. I know I did, because I see it in their eyes. I can tell a lot from people's eyes. I see the hatred, the dissent for me and looking down on me like I was a piece of whatever. All of a sudden they started warming to me. And that's, when I knew that, there was a certain point in that interaction that I knew, guys, you're feeling my love. I was just banging love and compassion on them, mate, in vast arrays of energy, and it worked, and it works all the time. You start calling them names and getting punchy. There's only one outcome, because in this country in 2016 we're disarmed. The people are completely disarmed. We've been in that UB40 song called King. They sing King, where are all your people now? You've all been pacified, and we have been we've been pacified, and the majority of the population will sit there and just rather watch X Factor than take an interest in politics. However, that doesn't mean that politics isn't going to take an interest in them.
Absolutely spot on. I was watching a TV show last night, I think, with my wife, and it was called That's So 1985, and so it was all about 1985. And I did notice, they were talking about things like the Broadwater Farm riots that happened in Tottenham, and I think they happened in Toxteth as well. Now, we don't seem to be able to muster together. Now, not that I'm saying rioting is a good thing, but we don't seem to be able to muster together. We've been pacified so much that we can't even get, a decent protest going.
Yeah, agreed. Personally, I don't think... there might be people out there that agree or disagree. I personally think protesting is a complete waste of time. There's never an end to whatever it is that you're protesting about. First of all, if you go protesting up at Parliament, they look out their windows maybe every now and again and go, look at them stupid idiots. Look, they're all over there in the cold, in the rain, shouting and screaming. And but they're all still paying their council tax. They're all still contributing to the system. They're all had to pay to get it. They've all got to go and eat. They've got to go and use the services. So unless... I see something in Ireland today where the people have absolutely rammed, I'm talking thousands and thousands of people have rammed some streets out there, and it is wall-to-wall flags and people. Now, if they turn that into a positive and meted and got together and then told, say, the local council, oh, by the way, this weekend we're going to be meeting at such and such, and we're going to ask you politely to have the doors open to the building, and we're going to come and occupy it under this law. And mate, that would change this country in an instant. It would just change the country. They'll all get there today, protest in the streets, and disappear and go home and go about their business. The only way you're going to get a change is if you get a proper vast number of people all coming together for the common thing and start taking buildings, but do it the right way. Let them know you're coming, because that's what pirates did when they turned up and rocked up alongside the ship. They put their flag up. They're announcing they're coming. So when we go and do things and we have to break it, no way. No. Peaceful. Do everything peaceful. Come together. If 1,000 people turned up at your local council offices and just took it over, man alive. First of all, you're going to get all the media involved. What's going on down there? What's going on down there? Let's get down there. Let's record it. Let's edit it. What's going on? You're going to generate an interest, and then it's going to go out on the mainstream media. Oh, 1,000 people rocked up to Dan Mason and took over the Gateway building. Wow. Mate, it comes around quick. And I'll tell you another thing. I see all these protesters come together. They're filling the street. Misdirection. If you go to your local town hall every 4 months, every quarter, 3, 6, 9, 12, every 3 months, your council and all your councillors and that, they all hold full council meetings, which have to be recorded, and it has to be on their minutes. So it's recorded forever. I go every now and again, and I'm going to the next one, but the one I went to, in the public area, there was 8 people. And when I got there, there's the mayor, the dignitaries from the council, all the councillors sat around, and this guy's sitting, he's standing there reading from the scripture. And I'm like, what are you people on? There's a woman in a doorway you can see out of a window that sat in a doorway homeless with a dog in her lap. And you reading from the scripture? That's hypocritical. So, if you want change, you have to, if you want to do it properly, go to your councillors, go to these full council meetings, go in mass, and then you're letting them know you're not happy with their services. Mm. It's the only way you're going to change things, guys, seriously. You've got to use your brains.
Yeah, Dave, I think you've got a very good point there. The only danger with letting them know what you're going to do before you do it is, like we were talking about Mickey Summers earlier. I know in past instances when he's gone to a police station either to hand in evidence or for an interview or whatever it is, when he gets there with all his supporters, they suddenly find the police station locked up and nobody will answer to him.
Yeah, no problem. So then for me, I'd rock up outside of a council building, 1,000 of you, playing music, all singing, dancing, laughing. You're gonna generate the right kind of context, and people will see that. I'll tell you for now, if anything goes out in the mainstream media of people turned up a building, took it by force, mate, the general public are going to turn around and say, no, we're not going to tolerate that. They won't tolerate it, mate. They won't tolerate it. And this is the problem. We have to win people. We have to win their hearts and minds. Anyone in the system, anyone at home, just going about their business. Fortunately, in 2016, there's a lot of people that are awake, and there's a lot of people that are taking an interest in alternative media, and they know things are wrong. They want to change. And the system as well this year is going to be under a lot of pressure. We've seen in the oil markets that it's costing them more to drag the oil out of the ground than they're getting, so the oil market's going to be going. We've seen Russia and China pull the plug on American dollars. The petrochemical dollar is pretty much done and dusted. There were 6 bankers arrested last week up in City. Quite a few of them are facing extradition to America to face dodgy dealings. There's going to be a lot of things happen this year that are just going to generate anyway, that we can jump on the back of and ride the wave.
Yeah, we there seems to be quite a lot of confusion over have we got the numbers that we need. And I mentioned that particularly because Babushka in the chat room has mentioned earlier that she went to an anti-fracking meeting on the Isle of Wight today, and out of 200,000 people on the island, there were 30 people present at this meeting, and she just posted that there was no MP and one church councillor.
Mate, they're not interested. There's hot pots around the country. There's areas of where people come together. Tom Crawford, when I was up there last January, there was 800 people in that cul-de-sac, 700 to 800. I know that for a fact because I was there. People power is where it's at, and unless the masses do wake up, it won't happen. You need a hell of a lot of people to come together. Now that might happen this year because, like I say, the oil market's unstable. It's getting harder and harder for people to make ends meet. So 10 million people all got mortgages, 3 mortgage payments away from facing an eviction. There's going to be all sorts of issues. So when Joe Bloggs, who sat in his house watching X Factor, starts feeling the pinch, and he's going to feel it, he'll start saying to his missus, "Oh, what's going on here? This ain't normal." And that's just beautiful because he's going to be looking then for alternatives because he needs to provide for his family and his homestead. So I think the system's under an immense lot of pressure without anything that people that are wakey are doing. The system is under a massive strain, man. Massive strain.
Well, sorry, Jason. When I was talking to Peter, I was talking about it was one of the guests last night. Before the show, he got a call off Roger Hayes, and for anyone who missed the show last night, he put out some exclusive news from Roger Hayes that he will be holding a meeting in Liverpool at the Liver Hotel on February the 13th. And I can't put out any details, but I've been told a little bit of what's going to happen there, and I would urge anyone with an interest in building this new system to get there and to show Roger their support.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout out. Whilst we're on the giving a few shouts out, there's I'm going up to Leeds on I think it's the last day of the month, 30th or 31st of this month, up at the Trinity nightclub in Pudsey in Leeds from midday, 12 o'clock till 5 p.m. and there's going to be I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of people there. Jason Noter, I'm going, Chrissy Morris, Claire Kennedy, and there's people pulling from all around the country, and I think it's going to be a very, very good thing because that's what we haven't got. We haven't got unity. There's a lot of people in different areas talking about different things, but when we unite, that's when things will become beautiful.
Well, I'm certainly going to try and get there to Leeds on the 30th, Dave. So I look forward to meeting you, mate.
Yeah, I'll be there. I won't be taking my van though.
We're hoping that we're going to be doing the show from there on Saturday, aren't we? On the 30th. So we're going to be. Hopefully, we're going to be there. We're going to be doing the show live. So if you're there, we'll probably get you on as well.
Happy days, yeah, great stuff.
And
I think there's just a great. I started this, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and like you say, you feel isolated. I found a local group purely by chance called Kent Freedom Movement, and great guys. Debbie and Eddie organised events. We had some great speakers come and talk. My friend Albert Burgess. We had David Noakes, who's got a pharmaceutical company in Jersey, come along and tell us all different bits and pieces. So I did feel isolated back then. But trust me, in 2016, in where we're standing today in January, mate, I'm seeing an armada of people really getting it now. Jason Noter's video on Facebook a month and a half ago topped out 350,000 views, and Anthony Wayne Abel, who is just a complete legend from up on the Wirral, his video that he did a couple of days ago where burglars broke into his shed but they found a block wall behind it. I've cried my eyes out. That's had 1.2 million views. So you would never have seen them numbers a few years ago, guys, because I tell you what, naturally, I truly believe that people are getting fed up of watching mainstream media and they're flicking on their iPads because the technology's there, and they're watching YouTube and they're watching Facebook. If you take the guy that does all the Jonathan Pye, he pretends he's wired up and he's doing news reports outside Parliament. I mean, he's just electrifyingly brilliant, and he's getting the message out there, and people tune into that. And when you make it funny and light-hearted, like Chrissy Morris does, the message, because people love laughter. We love laughter. We love to feel good and happy. That chuckle muscle really brings it out in people. So if you've got an ability to make people smile and laugh, the message just gets out so quick. There's a lot of people out there that just get stuck in the doom and gloom side of it, and that won't never do anyone any good. You've got to just be not naturally funny, but just come at it with a light-hearted approach. That's something that I've learned over the last few years, is just to be light-hearted with it and let nature take its course.
Yeah,
sorry, God. I was just going to say, Dave, that this light-hearted approach that you've got, I noticed there's a lot of people follow you on your Facebook page. I think I had a look and you've got like 700 people following you. I had to look at myself and I got about 6.
Yeah,
go on.
We're doing something. I don't know what it is I'm doing, but I do Chaz and Dave videos. I do all sorts. It's funny. I like a little sing-song now and again because I like to make people smile and give them a little bit of hope and say, no, things ain't right. Things need to change. I've only got about 40 people left up until I get to 5,000. So whoever gets to be number 5,000, I'm going to give them a proper special shout out. Listen, guys, I don't get excited about the numbers. I don't get excited about the fact that I've got lots of friends and lots of followers. That don't bother me. What I get excited about is the fact that they're getting it. That's what I like.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it always helps to get the message across with humour. Chrissy Morris being a brilliant example of that. I mean, I love Chrissy's work. We've had him on the show a couple of times. Loved it. Yeah. Chrissy, anyone hears this and can get the message to Chrissy, because it's quite hard to pin down. We'd love to get you back on again soon, but he's so busy helping other people.
Oh, man, that's a giver.
On the subject of the 30th, we've actually got Russell Burton and Jason Lauter going to come on with us on the Friday the 22nd, when we've got Michael O as the main guest, and they're going to give us some more information about what's coming up on the 30th.
Michael Oost?
Michael O. He's a retired policeman, and he's known by a lot of people as a walking encyclopedia because he is very knowledgeable.
I know Michael very well.
Yeah.
I know him very well. Yeah, I know Michael. I really do like Michael. Yeah, Michael's a good guy. I mean, I'm excited for Leeds. I generally won't travel the country. I'd rather do Skype calls. I'd rather sit and just have a cup of tea and chill out with people and talk. But at the end of the day, when the Leeds thing was being put into coming from its sort of grassroots, and Jason said, I'm going to do this thing, and I spoke to Russell Burton, and Russell said, yeah, and I thought, I'm excited about this one. So push comes shove, I'm coming. And I think a friend of mine's got a 9-seater bus, so we're going to be bringing quite a few people with us. So I mean, anyone that can come on the day and just experience it, just, I always say to people, just keep an open mind. The problem is with this country, with blinkered, everyone but my dad, he watches the bit, all these immigrants. I said, Dad, look, turn the telly off, man. Turn it off. Why is that? I said, because first of all, it's winding you up. I said, I can tell by your demeanour that you're really chuffed off about it because you're writing to David Cameron. I said, David Cameron's just going to throw your letter in the bin, Dad. He ain't interested. I said, so if you stop watching the news and reading it in the newspapers, your blood pressure will come down. And that's what is the problem in this country. When I go travel around, I go on the tubes in London, wherever, everyone's got their head in the paper, they've got their headsets in, they don't make eye contact with anyone. So this big brother mentality has got everyone hooked, line and sinker. And it's only when you get that little feeling of inside you saying, look the other way, look at it from that angle, look at it from below, look at it from above, what do you see? That's when life kind of takes on a different perspective. We've all got to get on with each other, because we're all connected, we are all the one consciousness. That might be slightly flowery, but that's the truth of the matter. We are all brothers and sisters, we all bleed red, no matter what colour you are. I like people for their metal. I like people for their moral compass and what they're prepared to stand for. You mentioned my friend Chrissy Morris. Now, whenever I see Chrissy, I have to grab hold of him and kiss his head because I love the man with a passion. And that guy is continuously on the pedal, helping others. Now, it says in the scripture to give is to receive. And when you start putting yourself out there and you start helping others, and someone might message you and say, "Oh, Dave, I've got a bailiff coming round later. What can I tell them?" And then you just give them a few little lines, and you'll get a message later at 6 o'clock that day saying, "You know what, Dave? That man turned up. I said that, and they disappeared."
Yeah.
Thank you, man. There ain't no price. You can't put a price on that.
No, absolutely. I did. Somebody was telling me, I can't remember who it was the other day. Somebody had got a bailiff turned up, and they said, "Oh, I'm pleased you're here. Wesley Ahmed's going to be here in a few minutes." And they went, "Oh, fuck, not him," and ran away.
Yeah, Wesley does what he does. Wesley's been on the scene for a long time. I know Wes, and see then again. Look at that. That I know Wesley, I know Jason, I know you guys, I know Chrissy Morris, I know my mate Toby Lee down here. Now my mate Toby Lee down here in Kent is he's battle hardened. This geezer goes into court and he just wipes the floor with them. He is just unbelievably electric in what he gets up to, and he comes at it from a different angle than me. I've got so many good people, and like I say, we're all getting to know each other from all walks of life. I know Tom. There ain't many that kind of come from this ethos. I wouldn't call it a movement. I'd call it an understanding that they want to see change and they're not happy with the current status quo, and they start challenging and thinking differently. I know most of the people that have put their head above the parapet per se. I know them and I talk to them. And let me say this. When you come out of the paradigm of just living in that bubble that you so love, it will feel really, really alien to you for a good 3 or 4 months, and you're going to have trouble putting it into any kind of corner of your brain and making it stay. But trust me, when you get through it, and you come out the other side, and you then come into a different understanding, your life becomes so nice, man. It becomes so much easier. You stop shaking when letters come through the door. It's just so different. I come home to my house about 5 months ago, and I pulled up because I'd been out working and I wanted to get some bits out of my garage, and the guy, I see him turn round in the junction. He followed me up behind me in his Nissan Micra, and I see him pull up behind me about 100 yards down from the front of my house along my hedge road, and he got out of his car, because first of all I'm thinking, who is he? What's he want? I've got locked gates and that, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? He got out of the car and he says, "Oh, hey Dave." I was like, "Oh," and I knew from the voice who it was straight away. It's my friend Alan Howe, and he grabs this massive bag out. I mean, he can just about carry it. I said, "What you got there, love?" He says, "I've brought this down for you, Dave." It was rammed full of food from his farm. I had pork chops and rib joints. Mate, I'm telling you, there must have been 150 quid worth of meat in that. And I said, "Alan, look, I can't take it, mate. Thanks, but I can't." He said, "No, you're having it because I want you to have it because you've helped me so much." And I was like, "I ain't done nothing. What have I done for this man?" And you can't buy that. And I get so many people message me with fond affections, and it massages me on the inside and makes my heart feel good. And if that's seen by anyone in the system as a bad thing, well, then they're missing out, man. Because when you come into that love and compassion, you boom, man. You start radiating. Trust me.
Absolutely, Dave. I know since I started talking on the radio, the support and encouragement I've received from friends and new friends that I've discovered since I started doing this has been absolutely overwhelming. The things that I've been given to help me, the hours that people have spent with me, helping me to move forward with what I'm doing is just overwhelming, and I can't thank people enough.
You know, when you look at humanity as a whole, I'll give you a little analogy, where men are given 70 years and 10, and that's like a vapour in the time of the planet's been here and the eternal time of the universe. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. So when you're alive and you get your soul into a good place and you can't do your brother any harm because you know it's going to have a negative effect on you, you will start radiating. Your energy will just lift. And that's why my little interaction with Kent Police 2 days ago, I can still feel the shake inside me because they've knocked my resonance. They've knocked the energy that comes from me. And it's horrible. The feeling is horrible. But it's only because I now come from such love and compassion. And I see everyone as equal. You know, black man, white man, China man, purple man, road sweeper, millionaire. I don't care who they are. It's how they act as a man or a woman that truly gets my inspiration going. And I'm seeing more and more people coming into love and compassion. And that's the way forward, guys. That's the only way forward.
That's a fantastic... Sorry, that's a fantastic sentiment, Dave. I see we're coming near the end of the 2 hours. The time always flies by. You've been a fascinating guest. Have you got any links that you can give out to your YouTube or any website that you've got, or how people can contact you if they need to?
If anyone wants to contact me, they can either get me through Facebook, Dave Witcher. My profile picture is me with my spy camera glasses on. I feel like Austin Powers when I push them. They're really good. They were £12. You can get them from eBay, and they record 4 hours in 1020 HD, and it's good stuff. So they can get me through Facebook. I can give you my email, davidwitcher67@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to receive anyone's emails, any questions, and then I'll give them my personal details, landlines, mobiles. This is what I say to anyone that listens in that's from the system. And when people say, they ring me up and they go, oh, Dave, you know, people might be listening, I say, good, let them. I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to fear. I don't care who listens into my conversations. Truly, I don't.
Well, Dave, when I first contacted you, I thought you'd be a great guest, and I'm glad that you've proved me right. Again?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but fantastic guest. And also, you had some great questions for Tom Crawford earlier on. So thank you very much for joining us today here on Raconteurs News. It is People's Internet Radio. We are seeking solutions, aren't we, Andy?
We certainly are, Jason. And this Tuesday coming up, we have got Paul, our high-level financial insider, and we're going to be taking a bit of a different tack with Paul this Tuesday, so I hope you'll all tune in for that one. And I'd like to wish everyone a really happy and fulfilling weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers, Dave. Cheers, Andy.
Thank you. God bless.